The Case of the Pale Horseman. The air in 221B Baker Street felt thick with the lingering scent of pipe tobacco and aged leather, a familiar aroma that brought a sense of warmth and nostalgia to Edward Holmes. He had recently moved into his great-grandfather's iconic residence, a grand old house that was as much a museum as a home. He was drawn to it not only by its historical significance, but also by a yearning to connect with his famous ancestor, Sherlock Holmes, whose legend had always fascinated him. One rainy afternoon, as Edward delved into a dusty chest in the study, he stumbled upon a leather-bound notebook tucked away in a corner. Its cover was worn, the edges frayed, and its pages were filled with Sherlock Holmes's neat, spidery handwriting. It was a journal chronicling one of his most intriguing cases, the case of the Pale Horseman. The mystery unfolds. The first entry, dated August 12, 1887, began with a chilling detail. Lord Thornton, a man of considerable wealth and influence, was found dead in the stables of his country estate. The doctor attributed his demise to a heart attack, a common enough occurrence for a man of his age and lifestyle. But something about the circumstances of his death, the peculiar pallor of his skin, and the strange stillness of his features troubled me deeply. It was not a natural death, Watson. This was a murder most foul. Sherlock Holmes's keen observation had alerted him to the unnatural circumstances of Lord Thornton's death. He noted the paleness of the nobleman's skin, a stark contrast to his usual robust complexion, and the unusual absence of any signs of struggle. The body lay sprawled on the stable floor, his eyes wide open, staring vacantly into the darkness. There was a faint scent of bitter almonds in the air, but the doctor dismissed it as nothing more than a figment of my imagination. However, Watson, I trust my senses. The scent was too strong, too distinct, to be simply a figment of my mind. It spoke of a poison, a deadly poison, a secret killer lurking in the shadows. The investigation begins. As Edward read further, he learned that Lord Thornton was a complex man, a respected nobleman, a successful businessman, and a ruthless competitor. His business empire, built on a combination of shrewd investments and a penchant for taking risks, had made him both admired and feared. Sherlock Holmes, accompanied by his loyal companion, Dr. John Watson, set out to investigate the case. They began with a visit to Lord Thornton's country estate, a grand manor house set amidst rolling hills and lush gardens. They met with the estate manager, a man named Mr. Davies, a loyal servant who was deeply saddened by Lord Thornton's untimely demise. He described the nobleman as a demanding but fair employer, a man who had built his fortune through hard work and a keen eye for opportunity. Lord Thornton was a man of action, always on the move, always pushing forward, Mr. Davies said, his voice laced with regret. He had a strong heart, a heart that never gave up. However, Mr. Davies revealed a darker side to the nobleman. He told them about Lord Thornton's ruthless business practices, his willingness to take risks, and his willingness to cut corners to gain an advantage. He had many enemies, Mr. Davies said. Men who had lost fortunes, men who had lost their businesses, men who had lost their reputations. Sherlock Holmes listened carefully, his mind already working, piecing together the clues, building a mental picture of the victim and his world. A web of suspects. The investigation led them to Lord Thornton's business partner, Sir Livingston, a man known for his cunning and ambition. Sir Livingston claimed that he had been away from the estate on the night of Lord Thornton's death, visiting his ailing mother in London. He looked flustered, his words tumbling over each other in a frantic rush, Sherlock Holmes wrote, His eyes darted nervously, and his hands trembled slightly. He spoke of his deep sorrow, but there was a hint of relief in his voice, a sense of liberation from a heavy burden. He was a man playing a part, masking his true emotions, but his facade was thin. Sherlock Holmes also investigated the possibility that Lord Thornton's death was a result of a business rival's revenge. He delved into the nobleman's financial dealings, uncovering a web of complex transactions and secret agreements, each one revealing a potential motive for murder. The evidence was overwhelming, Sherlock Holmes noted. Lord Thornton's business empire was a tangled web of investments, partnerships, and rivalries. He had made enemies in every sphere of his life, and each one had a motive to silence him permanently. The poisoned wine. Sherlock Holmes's relentless pursuit of the truth led him to the doctor who had pronounced Lord Thornton dead. The doctor, a rather pompous and self-assured man named Dr. Henderson, was initially resistant to the notion that Lord Thornton's death was anything other than a heart attack. The man was clearly in poor health, Dr. Henderson said, puffing out his chest. He was a man of excess, a man who lived life on the edge. His death was simply a matter of time. However, Sherlock Holmes's intuition, fueled by his observations of Lord Thornton's body, proved stronger. He challenged Dr. Henderson, pointing to the paleness of Lord Thornton's skin, the unusual stillness of his features, and the faint scent of bitter almonds. "The poison, Watson," Sherlock Holmes declared. "It was a poison that acts quickly and silently, leaving no trace except for the telltale sign of a pallid complexion." Dr. Henderson, initially dismissive, was forced to admit that there was something peculiar about Lord Thornton's death. He agreed to a second autopsy, his doubts reluctantly giving way to curiosity. The second autopsy revealed the truth. Lord Thornton had been poisoned, the toxin entering his system through a glass of wine. The poison, a rare and potent substance known as the Pale Horseman's kiss, was virtually undetectable, leaving no visible trace except for the paleness of the skin. The unmasking of the culprit. Sherlock Holmes's investigation zeroed in on Sir Livingston, the business partner. He discovered that Sir Livingston had been secretly purchasing small quantities of the Pale Horseman's kiss from a dubious chemist in London. He also discovered that Sir Livingston had forged financial records, concealing his own illicit dealings and making it appear that Lord Thornton had been struggling financially. Armed with this evidence, Sherlock Holmes confronted Sir Livingston, his voice a cold, steely blade, cutting through the man's carefully constructed facade. "Sir Livingston," Sherlock Holmes said, his eyes piercing, "the truth has a way of revealing itself, no matter how carefully you try to hide it. Your lies, your manipulations, your motive, they all point to one conclusion. You poisoned Lord Thornton. You wanted his business empire for yourself, and you were willing to eliminate him to achieve your goal." Sir Livingston, his face pale with terror, confessed to the crime. He had been envious of Lord Thornton's success, and he had used the poison to eliminate his business partner and claim the empire for himself. The Pale Horseman's curse. As Sir Livingston was apprehended, Sherlock Holmes revealed the unsettling truth behind the name, the Pale Horseman's kiss. He explained that the poison was a deadly concoction, its origins shrouded in mystery, its effects swift and silent. The name, he explained, was derived from an ancient legend, a tale of a mysterious rider who roamed the countryside, bringing death and despair in his wake. It was a poison that had a long and sinister history, Sherlock Holmes explained, his voice low and grave. It was said to have been used by ancient alchemists and sorcerers, its deadly properties hidden behind a veil of mystery and intrigue. Those who drank it were said to be touched by the Pale Horseman's curse. Their life slowly drained away, their faces turning pale as death. The story of Lord Thornton's death was a chilling testament to the power of ambition, the dark side of human nature, and the enduring legacy of the Pale Horseman. The end of the case. The case of the Pale Horseman was closed, Sir Livingston brought to justice, and the truth revealed. But the memory of Lord Thornton's death, the pallor of his skin, and the haunting scent of bitter almonds lingered in Edward Holmes's mind. He knew that his ancestor, Sherlock Holmes, had solved the case, but he had also left behind a legacy of mystery, intrigue, and the enduring power of the human imagination. Edward continued to explore the notebooks, uncovering more tales of his ancestor's extraordinary adventures, each one a testament to Sherlock Holmes's brilliance, his unwavering commitment to truth, and his extraordinary ability to solve the most baffling mysteries. Edward Holmes, a budding detective himself, was determined to carry on his ancestor's legacy. He knew that the world was full of mysteries, secrets waiting to be revealed, and he was ready to embark on his own journey of discovery, guided by the principles of observation, deduction, and the unwavering pursuit of truth. The end. If you like the story, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Was there anything that surprised you? Who's your favorite character in the story? I can't wait to hear your thoughts.